In June 2026, SAS, the Scandinavian airline that filed for bankruptcy protection just 4 years ago, walked into Copenhagen and signed the largest aircraft order in its 80-year history. 18 brand new Airbus A330neos, with options for up to 10 more, and another 12 second-hand leased A330s to bridge the gap until deliveries can begin. A commitment worth more than $10 billion at list price. This is not a cautious airline playing it safe. This is a company betting its future on aircraft, routes, and people it doesn't yet have. And on that note, here's an inconvenient truth. To fly these long-haul jets, as well as the 45 Embraer E2s also recently ordered, SAS will need hundreds of new pilots. Right now, Europe is short by tens of thousands of them. So while everyone is talking about the planes SAS just bought, almost nobody is asking who is actually going to fly them. So what exactly did SAS order? Why this aircraft over the alternatives? And where on earth are they going to find enough experienced pilots to fly it? Let's get into it. On the 30th of June 2026, SAS signed a firm order for 18 Airbus A330-900neo aircraft, with options for 10 more. Alongside that, the airline secured up to 12 additional second-hand A330-300s leased through Aviation and Bank of China Aviation to add capacity while it waits for the new jets to arrive. Add it all up, and you get a program covering as many as 40 wide-body aircraft valued at more than $10 billion at list prices. Airbus itself says the 18 firm A330neos alone would be worth roughly $5.7 billion before any discount, with discounts being completely normal on orders of this size. Here's the part that surprised a lot of industry watchers. Neither SAS nor Airbus has announced an official delivery timetable for the new A330-900s. Some reports point to the early 2030s. That is a long runway, and it matters for everything we're about to discuss, especially the workforce SAS will need to build in the meantime. To understand why this order is such a big deal, you need to understand where SAS came from. The airline voluntarily filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on the 5th of July 2022, restructuring more than $2 billion in debt and cutting thousands of jobs. It emerged in 2024 with new ownership, including Air France-KLM, which now holds a stake in the carrier of just under 20%. Since then, SAS has been rebuilding piece by piece. Last year, it placed a record order for up to 55 Embraer E195-E2 regional jets, worth around $4 billion, to renew its short-haul and regional network. It's also been modernising its A320neo fleet for short-haul flying. This new A330 order is the third and biggest piece of that puzzle, the long-haul piece. Together, SAS describes these three moves as the most significant fleet modernisation in its history. But bigger fleets do not fly themselves, and that is where things get interesting. SAS currently flies just 8 Airbus A330-300s and 6 A350-900s on long-haul routes, with an average age on those A330s pushing close to 15 years. That is a somewhat thin, aging long-haul operation for an airline trying to rebuild Copenhagen as a serious global hub. So why did SAS pick more A330s instead of going all in on the bigger A350 which it already operates? A few reasons line up for this. The A330-900 shares 95% of its airframe parts with the A330-300 SAS has already been flying for many years, which means pilots, mechanics and spare parts systems can carry over with far less disruption than introducing a new type. The A330neo is also the right size for SAS's network. It's configured for around 287 to 303 seats, a better match for Scandinavia's mid-sized long-haul demand than the larger A350. And it comes with a real fuel story. Powered by the Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engines, Airbus says the A330neo cuts fuel burn, emissions and operating costs by up to 25% per seat compared with the previous generation. With a range of up to 7,350 nautical miles, it can comfortably reach New York, and further routes across Asia are well within its ability. The second-hand A330-300s fill the gap while the world waits. They plug capacity now using aircraft the airline already knows how to operate, so SAS is not left standing still until the shiny new jets show up in a few years' time. On paper, it's a smart, low-risk strategy, but there's a variable in this plan that money alone cannot buy, and that variable is people. Here's where the story gets more convoluted. Long-haul wide-body flying doesn't just need one crew. Long routes typically require augmented crews of 3 or 4 pilots, so that fatigue never compromises safety on a 10, 12 or 14-hour sector. Multiply that across a growing wide-body fleet that flies around the clock, across time zones, with crews needing rest days, training days and leave, and the real number of qualified pilots required to keep just one long-haul aircraft flying every day of the year climbs well into the double digits. Industry estimates commonly put that figure at somewhere around 10 to 14 or more pilots per widebody. For a fleet that could eventually reach 40 aircraft, that is no small hiring number for SAS. It's a veritable army of pilots. And this is landing at possibly the worst moment in recent years to be looking for them. Consulting firm Oliver Wyman projects a global pilot shortfall of roughly 24,000 in 2026 alone, the widest gap between supply and demand since the industry's post-pandemic recovery began. Boeing estimates that European carriers will need around 122,000 new pilots by 2041. That's 8,000 per year just to keep up. More than 16,000 European pilots are also expected to retire within the next 5 years. And SAS is already named directly in industry hiring reports as one of the European carriers running active recruitment campaigns for flight deck crew, competing for the same shrinking pool with the likes of British Airways, Aer Lingus and Air Baltic. Wide-body flying is not an entry-level job either. It takes years of experience before a pilot is trusted with a long-haul aircraft carrying hundreds of passengers across an ocean. You cannot shortcut that. So SAS now has to do 2 things at once. Convert existing A320 and A330 pilots onto the new type, and somehow attract or train enough experienced long-haul crew to staff a fleet that could practically double in size. Where will they come from? Internal upgrades, poaching from rivals, aggressive cadet pipelines, or all 3 at once? SAS has not laid out the answer publicly. But if you're a pilot inside SAS watching this order land, you already know this question affects you directly, and it's worth watching closely how the airline responds. Not only that, but in recent weeks, current CEO Anko van der Werf has announced his departure from SAS in early 2027, as he moves on to guiding Air Canada, meaning someone new will have a lot of very big decisions and issues to face as soon as they take the reins. In a moment, I'll turn to the money behind this bet, because that tells its own story about how confident SAS really is. But before that, there's this poaching war that needs discussing. Here's what makes SAS's staffing problem even harder. It's not just short of pilots, it's also competing in a global bidding war for the ones who already exist. A wide-body captain is now one of the most fought-over jobs in aviation. In the United States, senior wide-body captains at legacy carriers can comfortably earn between $350,000 and over $500,000 per year in total compensation. Some Chinese carriers have reportedly gone even further, offering direct entry packages above $400,000 a year specifically to pull experienced wide-body captains away from Europe and North America. Middle Eastern airlines are in the same fight, offering total packages roughly in the range of $212,000 to over $330,000, tax-free, plus housing and travel benefits that make the real value even higher. Across the industry, a wide-body type rating now commonly carries a pay premium of 25 to 40% over an equivalent narrow-body role. This matters directly for SAS. Every experienced A330 or A350 captain the airline currently has is now a target for recruiters in Dubai, Doha, Shanghai, or with the US legacy carriers, all offering paychecks that a mid-sized Scandinavian airline coming out of bankruptcy struggles to match. And the retirements are not slowing down either. In the United States alone, the FAA projects around 4,300 mandatory pilot retirements every year through 2042, and Europe is facing a similar wave, with more than 16,000 pilots expected to leave the profession within 5 years. Every senior captain who retires or gets poached creates a gap that can't be filled overnight, because building a wide-body captain takes years, not months. So SAS is not just racing to train new pilots, it's also racing to keep the ones it already has, in a market where many airlines are offering more money to tempt them away. That is a huge cost hiding behind this $10 billion order, and it has nothing to do with the price of the aircraft itself. SAS's finances tell the story of a company that has been turning a corner. Since exiting bankruptcy in 2024, the carrier has been rebuilding profitability under new ownership, with Air France-KLM holding just under 20% of the business, a stake most analysts expect to grow to around 60.5% later this year, pending regulatory approval. That partnership brings more than capital. It also brings network alignment, since Air France-KLM already operates A350s and understands wide-body economics at scale, and it opens the door to closer transatlantic cooperation between the airlines. SAS also released its own economic case for this order, projecting that its expansion plans through 2030 could support around 25,000 additional jobs and contribute roughly 25 billion Danish kroner to Denmark's GDP, which is roughly 3.8 billion US dollars, alongside thousands more jobs in southern Sweden. Big numbers, though it's worth remembering they are the airline's own projections and not independently verified outcomes. Put together, this order lands at a symbolic moment too. SAS marks its 80th anniversary in September 2026. Coming from a company that delisted its stock and restructured more than $2 billion in debt just a few years ago, this could be viewed as a statement of intent as much as it is a fleet order. The plan on paper outwardly looks clean. Second-hand A330-300s from the likes of Virgin Atlantic arrive first to plug capacity gaps, and the new A330-900neos follow, likely in the early 2030s, giving SAS a modern, fuel-efficient, correctly sized long-haul fleet built around the Copenhagen hub. New routes across North America and Asia become realistic. Cargo capacity improves too, which matters for a region built on exports. But none of this is guaranteed. Fuel prices can spike overnight when the wrong people have too much power, as we've seen recently. Competitors like Finnair are not standing still on long haul either. And the pilot question we just walked through doesn't disappear just because the order's been signed. If SAS cannot staff these aircraft with experienced crew fast enough, all that shiny new metal sits parked on the ramp instead of generating revenue in the sky. So here's how it all stacks up. SAS has just placed the biggest order in its history for 18 brand new A330neos, with options for another 10, plus up to 12 leased second-hand A330s in a total deal value of over $10 billion, to revamp their long-haul network out of Copenhagen. The strategy seems smart. Right-sized aircraft, shared parts with the existing fleet, and a bridge of second-hand jets to tide them over until the new ones can turn up. But strategy on paper only works if you can staff it in reality, and Europe is short tens of thousands of pilots at the exact moment that SAS needs hundreds of new ones. This is a genuine comeback story for an airline that was in bankruptcy court just 4 years ago. Whether it becomes a full recovery may come down to something less glamorous than a shiny new jet though. It may come down to who is sitting in the flight deck. If you found this video interesting and you learned something new, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more aviation content really soon. Thank you so much for watching, see you next time, bye bye.